Hi, this is Kat, and I am checking in for my first week post-op. I had a starting weight of 370, that's before surgery and before the program started, and I had a day of surgery weight of 320, and since that time in 1 week after my surgery, I am now 307.2, so that's a weight loss of 12.7 pounds. I had my vertical sleeve gastrectomy done, I think I'm saying that right, done in Richmond, California at Kaiser, and I am having a really amazingly positive recovery. Like you are probably now, I watched a lot of videos before to find out, what could go wrong and what are the likely, things that happen, and what's gonna, how am I gonna feel and all of that. And nobody can have your experience except you. So I think it's good to do that research because I think it was a smart idea to do all that research. But at the same time, I don't have the same reaction that a lot of other people have. And there's another girl who had their surgery at the same day, same surgery, different doctor, but same surgery at the hospital, just an hour later, and she's having a very different experience than I'm having. But I'll just sort of do a brief thing. I went in on the 8th, super early. I didn't have to do a liquid diet ahead of time, which I just had to follow the plan, which I did mostly. I mean, I was probably doing a more keto version of the plan, but I, had done my preparation, and I had to stop eating at 6 o'clock beforehand, which I did, and maybe 6:15. I was running late that day, and there was a little patch that you put behind your ear for nausea, and did that. Did my shower the night before. Wiped down my belly with the wipes that they give you, and then tried to sleep, which was not terribly successful. But when I went in, it went pretty quickly. They had some trouble finding a nerve. I don't see. Oh, you can sort of. No, I'm turning it the wrong way. There you go. You can sort of see the bruise there. That's a week later. They were not. They really tried really hard to find the vein for the IV. I am a hard stick, and I told them I was a hard stick, which is I think why she went for the veins, because if you look at my arm, you can see it's like, oh look, there's a lot of veins there. That should be easy. They're a lot deeper than they look. Maybe it's all the fat. I don't know, but it's always been the case. And usually when they try to take blood, I pass out when they try to take blood, because they do 2 or 3 sticks, and because they don't believe me when I say I'm deep. Oddly enough, the phlebotomy team, I think that's how you say it, who takes blood in the lab, I had to go in twice to get blood drawn there, and both times I said, I'm a deep stick, and they're like, okay, and they did it, no problem, easy in, no bruises, no nothing. And unfortunately the IV nurse was not quite skilled as they were, but she was very nice. So I went through the process, and the anesthesiologist came down before the surgery after talking to my surgeon, and I had emailed with her beforehand, but I hadn't seen her before. So day of, and she was very nice, and we talked, and I forget how I mentioned it. It's like I have found out recently, because I've had to have a lot of dental work done. I am not fond of that. But I have a very small mouth, and my tongue is very tightly tied down. So like if I stick out my tongue as far as I can stick it out, it's pathetic, it's sad, it is what it is. And so that's, like all I could have. And she looked at my mouth, and she looked at my tongue, and she's like, oh. And I have had surgery before, so I have had anesthesia. No, that doesn't sound right. I don't know. But anyway, I've had it before, so I know I can go under and I can put a tube down my throat, whatever. But this time, oh my God, apparently it was my surgeon afterwards, or the recovery nurse or somebody, did mention that was difficult. They had a hard time, and my throat was on fire afterwards. it was funny because when I got up, I was sort of groggy in the recovery room, and they're like, "How are you doing?" You know, it's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And they're like, "Do you have some pain?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm having a little pain." I was like, "Well, let me give you some." And apparently they gave me Dilaudid, and they gave me one dose, and I was like, "Okay, that's fine." And then they decided to give me a second dose like right away, and then she walked away, and then I was extremely nauseous. Hey, Cassie, say hi, and maybe say let's not. You just want to be here, okay? All right. Anyway, so I got like extremely nauseous, so she gave me a little. Oh, all right. She gave me a little baggie, which was my best friend for a little while. I really didn't vomit, but it felt like, you know, it was the saddest, you know, teddy bear ever. Was this little nausea bag with a ring around it. You know, hard plastic rings that would hold it open. And then she gave me anti-nausea medicine, and after a little while, I felt much better. From there, they took me upstairs, and they got my bed to the room. They asked me if I wanted to go up in a wheelchair, if I wanted to go up in bed, and I kind of felt like, yeah, I want to go up in the bed. But they got the bed to the door of my room, and they're like, "You want to go for a walk?" And I thought, yeah, right, this is crazy. But I did. I went for a walk. I think there was like, the floor was kind of shaped like a figure 8, where there was like a long way around, so you could do a big O, or you could do, there was like a cross hallway in between. So I did a short hallway, but I did it. I did it pretty good. And then they had moved the bed by the time I got back, and then I got into bed there, and my husband was there for as much, like a lot of the time. He wasn't there right away, because I had him go home, and they called him and let him know I was going up. So he came up fairly soon, and he actually ended up going home and getting me real pillows, because the hospital pillows were crap. I'm sorry. Those things are so, like, no soft and no support. So he got me, I have like a Tempur-Pedic pillow, like the foam pillow, and he brought me that in, and that was very nice. But I walked a lot. I walked probably at least once an hour, and every time before getting into bed, I peed. I peed a lot. Apparently, they were very excited about that and made me put it like pee into a container. But that was good. So I was like, yay, okay, at least I'm peeing. I was able to bring up a little gas too. I burped quite a bit. And they gave me chips, ice chips, and then they gave me like a tray that had tea and Jello and chicken broth. And I really, really liked the chicken broth, and I was very nervous. The first sip, oh my god, the first sip seems like you're nervous about it, because it's like, I have no idea, like, and I've heard all these stories about what's going on, and my throat was very, very sore. So the ice chips were great on my throat, and I was also nervous about temperature, because they always talk about, like some people like cold, some people like warm, or, just room temperature, and some people like it hot. So I didn't know what it was going to be. So it's like I had found out that I was okay with cold because I was eating the ice chips, and that felt okay. So I thought, okay, maybe cold's my temperature. And then I had the soup, and the soup was so good. It was so good. But I got like 3 spoonfuls, and I'm like, I'm good. And then later I was like, it's going to feel so coating and wonderful in my throat, that Jello. And I had that Jello. And that Jello was a mistake. It was a serious, serious mistake. It was orange, one of my favorite flavors. I'm like, was so excited about it, and I was so sorry that I had it. It was not that bad. It was I didn't bring anything up. I didn't vomit or anything, but I had that little tiny, spoon, put it in my mouth, and it felt really good on my throat. And then it was like it hit the pool of my stomach, like my stomach was a pool or something. It like hit, and then it was like an explosion of mild pain, strong discomfort. I just, and that's been sort of my experience. It's like I haven't had a lot of pain. I've had a lot of discomfort, and sometimes I drink too fast, or drink too cold, or drink whatever, and or like try to put too much in, and or sometimes it's not even that, it's just I think some gas or something, and it's sort of like this bloom around, like lower, like between my breasts, a little bit lower than between my breasts, and it just feels like this bloom of discomfort. And honestly, if I just hold still and breathe, it goes away, and it just sort of like breathe. It's like, okay, I'm fine. But it's been, and then I've burped a lot, and I walked a lot and did not sleep a lot. That first night I did not sleep a lot, and finally the morning of, I think it was like 5 o'clock in the morning, they had unhooked the other girl who was in my room from her IV, and I'm like, I want to be unhooked from my IV, because I was getting up and going and walking, and I was pretty self-sufficient, but the IV was around this side of the, like on my right side of the bed, but I had to get out the left side of my bed, so it was very awkward to get out and to walk. But yeah, I did a lot of walking, and it's, I think, it's good. The incisions were different than I thought, and like a lot of people say that their large incision hurts. My large incision has been fine. The one that is most left has been the one that has bothered me, because, sorry, my IV was on my left side and I had to get out on the right side. But the one that had most bothered me was the one that is on my left side, because I sleep on my sides, and I've been trying to there's not one on my right side, so I can sleep on my right side, but every once in a while I try to turn to my left side just because it's comfortable, and I think that has irritated it a little bit, so that's been a little troublesome. I came home with no problem the next day on Thursday, and I have, I've been trying to do the normal things. Sleeping, showering was very, very nice. But I've been doing most things on my own. My husband's been very helpful, and he's been doing, like changing the cat litter, which is something I usually do. He's been taking care of, because I just can't stay bent over that long. I can bend down. I can't really do anything on the ground, like touch things on the ground quite. I can pick something up that's like, my purse is on the ground, I can pick up my purse or something like that. But getting things that are actually on the ground are very difficult. I dropped a pill once, and I had to say, honey, can you come over here and pick up my pill, because that was just too low. One of the hardest things is she likes to, this one over here, likes to sleep on my stomach, and she keeps like jumping up from nowhere and landing on my stomach. So it's getting healed and getting better and getting stronger, which is great, because she keeps jumping up on my stomach. Even though and she's very insistent, so if she jumps up and you push her away, she just, will go away for 30 seconds and come back up and do it again. So she's a tortie, and torties are very, have their own minds. So yeah, but I've been doing well. I was able to, sorry, TMI, I was able to poop. I don't think it was Thursday, I think it was Friday. I was able to go to the bathroom and pass gas, and that was great, because getting the whole system working was good. I had asked my doctor, they always recommend Miralax, and I kind of can't stand it. So I had been using Smooth Move Tea before, and I asked my surgeon if it was okay for me to use it, and she said that she's had a lot of patients who really have good luck with that, so I did use it, and I used it right away. I think when I got home, I had a glass both Thursday and Friday, and yeah, it worked. I know that some people are able to poop at first and then they can't afterwards because of the constipation, but I got off the pain pills as soon as I could. Thursday, they tell you to take them as soon as you get home, so I took it at 10 o'clock when I got to the house, and then 4 hours later, when you could take it again, I was still in a little bit of pain, so I took another dose of it. but so like Thursday at 2 was the last time I took the pain pills. So that was great. I have been, you know, I had clear liquid the first few days. I was trying to drink as much as I could, and I had some Jello, and I think that, and I tried chicken broth at home. I didn't like it as much at home as I did there. But since I've gotten, so now I moved on to the full liquid, which I'm doing soup, and I'm actually doing, Trader Joe's has a creamy corn and roasted pepper soup, puree soup, which is really good. I love it. I haven't been eating it because I've been really low on carbs, and it is a little higher in carbs than I, you know, want it to be. But for right now, I know it's just important to get something that I like into me. So I've been having that, and I've been mixing it with, I had gotten some like spreadable, really no lump, no particle spreadable goat cheese. And I've been using that in the soup. I just mix a spoonful in. So it gives it a little bit more protein, it gives it more body, and it helps the taste, and it's been great. I've been very happy with that. And I've had a little bit of chocolate pudding, not sugar-free chocolate pudding, but not much. I've really been happy with the soup. On Saturday, I actually managed to go, my husband and I went to see Christopher Robin in the theater, which he was nervous about, you know, like being able to go and me being able to sit through a whole movie. I was fine. I had my water bottle. I sipped through it, and that's, I was really nervous that, I mean, I'm still having trouble getting in as much water as you're supposed to be getting in, but I'm getting in quite a bit. Recently I've been getting like 40 ounces in, which I know 64 is the goal, but getting 32 to 40 ounces in at this stage, I think is pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. So yeah, that's what I've been working on, but I haven't noticed, actually I've been a little nervous because I haven't noticed a lot of restriction. Like, I can't just, like, I can't gulp, but I can take, I thought I was just going to be getting tiny sip, tiny sip, tiny sip, and a lot of people have problems, and I've been really lucky that I don't have problems. But I can take a, you know, like a larger sip, and I can take several larger sips in a row, and really work on getting that water. In fact, I haven't had any water since I started, and I probably should, so I'm going to. See, that was a fairly large sip, and I haven't, oh, a little bloom, but yeah, it passed. That was it. I got this water bottle online. I think it's pretty good because it has, it has measurements for times, which kind of match up to when I have to drink water. So I'm kind of happy about that. I kind of feel like this is something, and 2 of those would be 64 ounces. So I'm liking it. It's a cacti. But it's, yeah, it's pretty good. I'm really enjoying that, and I'm going to have to. So anyway, it's going well. It was, you know, it's funny because they say, do not get on the scale the first week, you know, wait till the first week. And yeah, I completely ignored that because I just was really, I'm kind of fascinated by how this affects my body, you know, and that's part of, you know, like this whole thing. I'm trying to be very aware of how long the wait takes to get off and not expect miracles and whatever, but I know that this week is remarkable. I also know when you come from the hospital, you will be heavier than you went in, and a lot of people are like, how can that happen? And it makes sense to me. I'm okay with that. So I went in, like I weighed in on their scale, I was 20.2. My scale at home, I forgot to weigh in that morning, but before I had been like 319, sorry, 320.2. So when I got home, I got on the scale. I had taken a shower, or I think before I took the shower, I got on the scale, and I was 325. So I went up 5 pounds in the hospital, but they've been filling me with fluids. They had pumped gas in me and all of that. So yeah, okay, I'm fine with that. Then it just started falling off, and it was kind of amazing because I would be like, I'd be up in the morning, and I lost 12.8 pounds in a week, and it was usually like 2 pounds a day. Except for the first, Thursday I was 25, and then like the next day I was 22 or 21, and then I was like 18. And, I just kept going down. And it was funny because sometimes I would get on the scale a couple times a day just because I was fascinated by it. And I would lose, one day I got on the scale 3 times and was 3 different weights when I got on the scale. So I'm like, okay. And it wasn't like the scale was miscalculating or anything. That was the actual weight. So I know that this is the magic time and the honeymoon period. I mean, this is the severe honeymoon period because I'm never going to lose this much weight again. But what was funny is this morning I got on the scale and I had been a 308 yesterday, like dead on 308. And then this morning I got on the scale and I was 307.2. And I was just like, okay. And the brain side of me goes, that's fine. It's still going down. It's, a day later, it's fine. But then when I came downstairs and I was sitting on the couch and I said to my husband, it's like, oh my God, I'm a little bummed. And the reason why is because I lost less than a pound since yesterday. What the fuck? It's yesterday. Honestly, that is insane. I should be super happy, and I am super happy. But yeah. Oh, the other thing that happened, because I was hoping to lose more than 12.8, the first week, because I figure that's the big week. I don't know if I've said this before. I have endometriosis, so usually I take birth control pills pretty much consistently to not have a period, because every time you have a period, it makes the endometriosis worse. So I just don't have a period anymore, or haven't had a period by medical interference. I don't know. So I basically, just do 3 weeks of a pill and then start a new pack. So before 3 or 4 weeks before the surgery, I stopped taking the pill, and I had been waiting for a period, and I kind of got some is it a period? Is it not a period? I don't know. Not really. No, I didn't start bleeding. I didn't, I had a couple cramps, but then it kind of went away. So I was really afraid I was going to have the period for my surgery, which they can deal with, but they make you wear old underwear and your own pad, go into surgery, and then they cut it off and throw it away during the surgery, which didn't sound like fun. So I was like, I don't want to have to deal with that, and I didn't have to deal with that. But on Saturday, holy crap, I got the mega period. It was painful and messy, and luckily I was able to swallow Motrin because I needed it pretty severely. I was in so much pain from the period. I mean, I don't know if I don't think I was in any pain from anything else, because once I took the Motrin, I was fine. But yeah, when you don't have a period in probably 10 years and you have a major one, it's like my body just opened up a vein. It was horrible. And it's not quite done, because when I did usually have my periods, I had a good 7 days, sometimes 8 days of a period, and I know your period gets completely wacky, and I already discussed this whole process with my OBGYN, and 3 weeks out I can start using the Nuvo ring, which is something I've never done before, but I'm going to be cycling it the same way to try to avoid having a period again. But I know that the hormones can be so strong that they just do whatever the hell they want to, so that's one of the parts that I'm not completely looking forward to. And I was really prepared also for regret and a lot of people have, why did I do this to my body, or immediate buyer's remorse, but I have not had that, and I don't know if it's because I'm just so prepared for it that I'm not having it, or what reason, but I'm doing good. And I am looking forward to next week, and I will probably stop weighing myself so often. I'll probably still keep weighing myself daily just because I find it interesting, but I'm not going to report anything except on the weekly reports. But there you go. First week. My first, major milestone is to get below 300. I have a party that I'm going to, my first sort of like thing with people. Not this weekend, but next weekend, and I'd really love to be where I could say I am at 70 pounds down, because right now I am at 62.8. So if I can maybe lose, what is it's 7 pounds. That would, I mean, it's possible. I'm not going to beat myself up if not. And you know what? If I'm at 69 pounds, I might just say I'm at 70 pounds. Because you know what? They're not looking at my scale, so it really doesn't matter. So thank you for watching. And, if you have any questions, post. I look forward to talking to people and being part of the community. So thanks.